What's going on, guys? This is Mars Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Bloodborne commentary. Alright guys, this time around we're going to talk about the pure Arcane build. I have a lot of issues with pure Arcane. You know, when the game first came out, I read a lot of comments. I went over some of the forums, listening, reading, people talking about their issues with Arcane. But I didn't really want to take their word for it. So what I did was I created my own Arcane build. I definitely invested a lot of time into wanting to make this character work. But after all of the time I've invested, all the farming, all the challenge dungeons, I've reached the conclusion that the pure Arcane builds are absolutely crap. Now, first and foremost, let's just kind of go over some of my weapons. I'm using 3 weapons right now. As you guys can see, the Hunter Axe, the Ludwig, and the Kirk Hammer. Now, there's a couple other weapons that get a B scaling in Arcane. My whole reasoning for picking some of these weapons, I only wanted to pick weapons that had at least a B scaling in Arcane. So my only other options, aside from these 3, which, as a matter of fact, the Hunter Axe doesn't even have a B scaling. I just so happen to like the Hunter Axe, so that's why I use it. But the only other weapons that have a B scaling is the Threaded Cane and the Rider Pelage. I could still use the Threaded Cane without having to make any investments anywhere else. The main reason why I'm not going to use the Rider Pelage is because I will need to invest points in other areas, right? And I don't want to ascend my build past 100 just to use one other weapon. Now, some of you guys may think to yourself, well, what about the Blades of Mercy or the Burial Blade? You can't really use those with a pure Arcane build because those weapons have split damage, right? They get most of their benefit from the physical and only a small portion of their benefit from the Arcane. So for the purposes of this video, I'm talking pure Arcane, no weapons with split damage. Now, one of my biggest issues, I have a few big issues, but one of my biggest issues with pure Arcane builds is the fact that it is a struggle going through PvE and challenge dungeons if you want to go the pure Arcane path. And the main reason for this is there's simply no good Arcane gems, Arcane or Elemental gems within the game. Now, some of you may argue that you can find a plus 18 Arcane Droplet gem toward the end of the game. Yes, that is one gem. Okay, that is one gem. But unlike physical, you can't farm for other Arcane gems, Droplet gems in particular, or fire gems or lightning gems. You simply can't do it. So just by just by comparing physical to Arcane, it's more beneficial for you to choose a pure physical option over Arcane. Because think about it. Let's just say you want to go pure Arcane. The only good gem you're going to get is a plus 18% droplet, and that's pretty much at the end of the game. You will not be able to farm any other enemies in the game that will get you at least 18% in either fire, Arcane, or lightning, or bolt, what they call bolt. Whereas pure physical, at least you can farm those enemies toward the end and get 19.5% physical gems. So just comparing, 118% Arcane gem, which are not farmable, versus 19.5% gems, which are farmable. Why would anyone choose to use a path that don't have farmable, decent gems? That's number one. Okay, so basically I went through the game with 16 strength, 12 in skill, minimal stats, using pure physical gems. And basically I had to go through the chalice dungeons with those 19.5s and no investment in strength and skill. So basically I was just getting a 19.5 benefit, not really maximizing the damage output, right? Because you're not, I mean, even going through the, level 1 chalices, the level 2, or even the level 3s, you're not going to find any decent arcane, fire, or bolt gems. As a matter of fact, you won't even start to find decent gems until you get to some level 4s or 5s, right? But by that time, you may be so discouraged with losing that you may say, you know what, it's simply not even worth it at the end of the day. Number 2, the gems that you can get. Okay, now let's just compare the pure physical with the arcane path. With the pure physical, you're able to farm 27.2 physical gems, 27% triangular gems, and you can get up to 23.9 waning gems. All right, so at minimum, your weapons going the pure physical path can have 2 27% gems and 1 23.9% gem. Best case scenario, 3 27.2 gems. Now let's just look at the alternative. Let's look at the pure arcane path. Now, I have 1 triangular 27.2 arcane gem. However, I mean, unless someone else knows something out there, I have yet to find a 27.2% arcane radial gem or a 27.2 arcane waning gem. Now you may find some fires, right? Because I do have a couple 27.2 fire gems, but I don't have 3 of them, right? I don't have a 27.2 fire radial, bolt radial. I don't have a 27.2 bolt waning. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, just by looking at the available options out there, you're going to be far weaker with 50 investment trying to go the pure arcane path as opposed to going the pure physical path. So the number one problem that I have is that, number one, there are no good fire, bolt, or arcane gems within the game, even for those who are interested in experimenting with it. There are no good gems. You're not going to find the good ones until you get into the chalice dungeons. Even if I think they need to revamp these chalice dungeons so that you can at least make pure arcane builds competitive with pure physical, right? Offer some more 27.2s in waning and triangular and in radial. Don't make the pure arcane gem so difficult to farm. Yes, I can find 27.2s in triangles, but I can't get 27.2s in waning or radials. Now, if you guys have found some 27.2 waning or radials, please let me know and I'll farm them, and then I'll come up with another video talking about that. But up to this point, they need to revamp the gems for pure arcane builds. That's my main issue. Another issue that I have is critical attacks are absolutely crap. Now, as far as what I can see, your critical attacks scale with skill, right? So I'm even fine with me having weak criticals insofar as I have decent gems to make my damage output with my weapons, competitive with pure physical, which they are not. Number 2, I would be fine if the hunter tools, were stronger than what they are. Let me give you a classic example. The Ebrietas, however you pronounce it. You need an 18 in Arcane minimum to be able to use it. I have 50 in Arcane. So that's 32 additional blood levels in scaling. Yet in PvP, I can only do about 160-ish damage with that casting. So you mean to tell me I need a minimum of 18 to use it. And with additional 32 points in scaling, I can only inflict, like not even 200 HP against enemy in PvP. Like, are you serious? How is that investment even worth it? The tracking on the what is that thing called? Oh, a Call Beyond. Screen so small I can't even read it. The tracking on a Call Beyond is terrible. It's absolutely terrible, and the only way it's going to be effective is if more than one dots are able to hit the enemy in PvP. But the tracking is shit. It's complete shit. Not only that, you need to invest at least 40 points in Arcane to use it. So you invest 40 points in Arcane. And coming from games like Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, and Dark Souls 2, you think in your mind naturally, with me investing all this points, it's going to be a pretty good hunter tool for me to use. That's not so. It is not so at all. Not only is it easy to dodge, but the damage output is complete crap, because it's only effective when more than one when the enemy is hit by more than one droplet. And in most cases that I have experience playing this game, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to do too much damage. So I can even understand my criticals being weak if the damage output that I had was strong because I had better gems, or if the hunter tools were more effective. After all the experience that I have, the only hunter tools that I think are worth using are what is that thing called? A hunter's bone, whatever that one to make you vanish, kind of like the OP speed dash. That one is good. Maybe you can use the roar, right? Because it make your enemy fall. I mean, you can blow them backwards or whatever, blow them to the ground. Maybe that. But for the most part, the rest of them are crap. That particular one, Tiny Tinatress, is extremely easy to dodge. And not only is it easy to dodge, it doesn't even inflict that much damage, even with 50 Arcane. Why would anyone experiment with an Arcane build when the gems are crap, the hunter tools are crap, the damage output that you're going to get from the weapons are crap? Like these things cannot be denied. Now, I already know what some of you guys are going to say. You guys are going to try to say something like, well, I know a guy who has a cool Arcane build. Yeah, it may be cool, but it's more of a gimmick, because you can't even really argue that you can be competitive against pure physical. Let me give you another example. I mean, I don't know how many I need to go through. Okay, so here's another one. Not only am I going to take a damage reduction with my weapons because the gems are crap, but the armors make it even worse. There are some times where I have been in fights, and even though my AR might be high, perhaps they just might be using a weapon, an armor set that nearly nullifies my attacks. For example, there's a lightning armor set that has high defense against lightning. I just so happened to invade this guy with my hunter, with my Kirk hammer, and the damage was absolute crap. So not only am I going to get reduced damage output, because I'm going Arcane path, but I'm also going to get an additional damage reduction if someone just so happened to have armors that are resistant against the type of element that I'm using. Case in point, in this particular fight right here, the armor set that he's using is weak against lightning. And I think I'll pull out my Kirk hammer a little later, and you guys just pay close attention to the damage. The damage is absolutely crap. Absolutely crap. And I have decent gems, right? I have decent gems with my Kirk hammer using lightning, but it's absolutely crap. You see, almost everything that I'm using is missing. There's not that many ways that you can maneuver well with these Arcane builds, because the fact is the weapons are weak, the hunter tools are weak, and I really think a lot of these things need to be tweaked. The gems in game, gem availability, gem types, They need to tweak these tools. And I already know some of you guys may say we got a patch, but I just did these invasions today after the patch just to test and see what kind of buffs would have been given to these weapons and, you know, arcane tools. They're still crap, right? So it is what it is. Too much time to invest, not enough return, not enough positive return. So the struggle is real, right? So if any of you guys out there have arcane builds, you know, and you think that they are not bad, I mean, drop a comment. But like I said before, you cannot argue the fact that the gems that are available for arcane, and when I say arcane, I mean either pure arcane, fire, or bolt, you cannot deny that they will not be as strong as pure physical. So your damage output will not be as strong. Now, is it kind of beneficial in PvE? I'll say is more beneficial in chalice dungeons because there are a lot of beasts and some of these others who are weak to arcane. Other than that, not really, is not even worth it. It's better you go to pure physical path. So hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm looking forward to your comments, and hey, until next time, Martyr's Brigade is